with caregiver questions. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks for leaving your comments both on this post and on others on our Facebook page and blog page. I know over the weekend, a lot of you responded to other caregiver questions and comments, and we really appreciate that. And I know they do too. It helps a lot for your fellow caregivers to see comments from other caregivers who are doing the same thing that they're doing. So thanks for that and keep up the good work. Today, we are taking a page out of Cindy's Family Caregiver Journal, and she's going to walk you through, this is not a scenario, this is just like what happened on one day. And, you know, it's just a typical day that I think a lot of you that are family caregivers have been through hundreds of times, and all of you have been through this. And so we're going to give a few suggestions, maybe how to streamline this process and get through it a little bit easier. And certainly we would welcome your input, things that you've done that's made it easier for you. This day began like the day before when her mom started experiencing some symptoms and, you know, determined they need to go to the doctor and subsequently get an x-ray. And it just took like forever. So Cindy, go through a couple of your journal entries and we'll walk them through the process.
Okay, and what I would really like from you is what Doug mentioned, help. If you have been through this particular type of experience and you found a way to handle maybe the staff, or whether it's bring cookies or whatever it is to get results quicker, let us know. Because what I have found in when I took mom to places like to get x-rays and to the ER, she hated to wait, just absolutely hated to wait. It's like, I'm wasting time. What are we doing? So if you have a trick or anything that you think will work for this, please share it with us.
Well, into the later stages, like at the time this happened, she was so weak and frail, you know, sitting for hours like in a waiting room or something with this really tough.
Exactly.
Really tough.
Exactly. Okay, so on the 6th, this was December 6th, mom woke up with a raspy cough this morning. I called a nurse that I know and asked her to come over, which she did. When she got there, she had lost the earpiece to her stethoscope, which really didn't help things because she wasn't able to tell me if something was going on in mom's lungs. And with a raspy cough, I thought, oh, first thing that comes to mind is pneumonia. Mom's 89. So I was concerned that she was catching pneumonia. So the nurse suggested we take mom's temperature to see if she had a fever. So pharmacist, my brother, was there. He came over and he said, I'll go get some decongestant. So we took her temperature, gave her some decongestant, and I stayed with mom literally all day. I went back home for a little bit, went to the office a little bit, came back and fixed supper, and then spent the night with her. I was just really concerned because pneumonia scares me to death. All the while trying to get a hold of the doctor saying, can we get in and get an appointment? So the next day I got on the phone again with the doctors, got a hold of their triage nurse on their exchange twice, and both nurses said, take her to the ER. Well, mom did not like the ER because it took absolutely too long. That was with the geriatric physician. So I called a primary care physician whom she had seen several times, and they said, yes, we'll be able to see her tomorrow at 3:45. And I thought, that's not going to work. I'm paranoid, I guess. So it was a trade-off between waiting until 3:45 tomorrow or going to the ER. So I headed to the house, I got her dressed, and we were going to go to the ER. And in the meantime, primary care physician office called back and said, bring her in about a couple of hours and we will see her. We'll work her in. Well, I thought that'll be less of a wait. So Doug and I discussed it, and we drove to this doctor's office and convinced the nurse to order a chest x-ray before we actually brought mom in for that appointment. Well, it turns out that didn't help because they have to send their x-rays out of town, basically, to have them developed and read. So we went ahead and got her in to see this doctor's appointment. And then we had to take her from this doctor's appointment, put her back in the car, take her across the street, and have a nasal x-ray done. Turns out she had a nasal infection and an ear infection. So we waited, as we were waiting for the nasal x-ray, she's getting very tired and complaining out loud that it's a long wait. And there was a lack of staff to get things done. She asked me 20 times, why is it taking them so long? Where did they go? So I go out in the hall, as I did for the previous x-ray, and I just stopped somebody that was walking by and I asked several questions. So they went back in the x-ray, where the x-ray tech was, and got somebody and came out, took Mom, and we went and got the x-ray done. So, and I've told people this a number of times, the hardest thing to get rid of is the body. If you're standing in front of somebody that you want to do something for you, and they can't go anywhere else and do anything until they deal with you, then you get something done. So we finally got them. I just had to stand in front of the right person, I guess. Finally got them to do the x-ray. So when I got back out in the hall, I wanted so bad to just sit down against the wall, put my heads in my hands, and cry. And I fought that urge for over an hour. So to help you not have to go through some of this, find somebody in the doctor's office that you can communicate with directly. I have found in a couple of the doctor's offices that I took Mom to that they actually had a cell phone. It was an office cell phone. They don't give that number out to just anybody. But if they'll give it to you, you can text them, and you usually get responses quicker if it's text. Or you can call and leave a voice message quicker than going through the exchange. Also, when you go to events like this, to the doctor's office and to have the x-ray done, be sure to take your medical visits notebook with you. That's going to tell the doctor or anyone else who sees your loved one, here's the past examinations and the results and the tests and the medications and everything they're going to need to know right there in that notebook, so you don't have to run home and chase stuff down. So the next day, the doctor's office called and confirmed it was indeed a nasal infection and an ear infection, and thank God it was not pneumonia. So the antibiotics she had prescribed and Mom had already started taking the evening before is exactly what she needed.
So, long story short, this is just something that you can learn from, and you've probably, like I said earlier, you've probably been through the same thing. So what did you do that helped? What did you do that's worked in a situation like this? The things that we have learned through a lot of appointments like this, personal experience and client experiences, a little communication goes a long way. If you can talk to the doctors, talk to the x-ray techs,
or staff members,
and just let them know, hey, this person is frail. She's not physically able to sit here for, hours and hours waiting for x-ray results. So, sometimes just having a conversation with them will help. Sometimes it won't. Tip Cindy gave about if you can get a cell phone number at the office from the office staff where you can text them, being in touch with them, that will help. So everyone that you deal with in the medical system, if you can have a kind but direct conversation with them, a lot of times that will help.
And smile.
And
you
smile.
can say almost anything as long as you smile.
And take them some cookies. So
absolutely.
Whatever helps.
So if you have a tip, if you have something that worked in a situation like this and helped you from having to sit down in the hall and lean against the wall and just cry, please share that with us, because we've all been through a lot of this, and we will most likely go through it again. So please share your tips with us.
That's all we have today on this Help Me Help Mama livecast. Thanks for joining us. Please leave your comments and tips. We'll be looking for them, and we'll see you again next time on Help Me Help Mama. Thanks for watching.